Hi. So, have you ever stuck on Web3 and you don't have any idea about what is Web3 and how it is different from general Web 1 or Web 2, meaning our previous versions of Web? Here I am to clear all your doubts regarding the Web3 in a very simple way. So, before we even talk about Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is very popular, so we need to have a clear understanding about history. So history, I mean to say the history of the websites or the web, general web. So let's go. So as you can see here, it is Web 1, right? And in this, we can see that it is very static in nature. By static, I mean it contains only the images and the text. You can basically understand it as in the first iteration of the website of the web. It is it almost has no users, no producers, only the consumers. Why there is such a difference, like there is no producers and only consumers? Because in order to produce something, you need to know the technical things of building website to produce anything. So, for example, the big players of that time were Yahoo, Google, E-Trade, because they had to develop their own website in order to produce something, right? So general user cannot be participated in the user kind of thing in the Web 1. So now coming to Web 2, what upgrade did Web 2 had that Web 1 didn't had? So it contains all the features that Web 1 had, but it had more user generated content. But the catch here is that it is very centralized. So all the data that was controlled by large organizations, very large organizations, and a user gave all the data in exchange of the platform. That could be so if you're giving some data to a large organizations, an example like Facebook or Google, so they could sold the data of the user in exchange of using their platforms, and in that platform user gives them the permission to in example of here we can say as a Facebook or Google to sell their data. They basically that check mark is there, right? When you sign up everything, like I read any permissions, I give all the permissions, right? So that is the permission that you give in the Web 2, and it is likely to be sold. And but there is a huge change in the Web 2 regarding to Web 1, that in order to make or create content, you don't need to know website creation, or you don't need to be developer. So we had amazing things like WordPress, where you can just make a website on a single click, and uh, you could just sell your content or make a content, or you can publish your content. Finally, I would like to say that in the Web 2, data is the price that user paid, because most of the platforms are free to use except some premium features. But the price the usually the user pays is the data, because the organization sells their data without their knowledge as well. They don't know where the data is to supposed to be sold at what time, or to which organization. So that is the deal. Now coming to the Web 3, we are now in the revolution of Web 3, and it is more like read, write, trust, and very verifiable web, where users can verify each other's data. There is lots of published and user generated data, uh, where users own their data and also choose where they want to store their data and the content. So it's also censorship resistant, meaning anyone can freely access it as long as they have digital wallet. So you need to, in order to use Web3, you need to have some kind of digital wallet. Most common is like MetaMask that we use in. Uh, a lot of these webs are decentralized application. They are called decentralized application, is short form DApp. Uh, it is called decentralized because it is not owned by a central party or a single corporation like Google or Amazon. They don't own Web3 products, but the backend layers of these platforms, that is decentralized application, are on blockchain itself. It is in the form of smart contracts, uh, and about the smart contracts, we are going to learn it in the later section. Basically, it is publicly accessible by everyone, and anyone can read or write to it. It is also censorship resistant, and they run on blockchains. In this use case, users and builders, they both own some piece of data. Previous versions of Web 1 and Web 2, it was not possible because corporations owned everything, including users' data. But with Web 3, everyone has an ability to save a piece of data, right? By owning the tokens. So users, when they went on decentralized application, so in exchange of real money, they get some tokens. So why is that token important to the user? Because if he has the token, he has the rights, owning rights. He has the voting rights. He has the governance right. So with the help of these tokens, governments can be done by the community rather than centralized party deciding everything. So whosoever had that token, he can vote against anything that is decided by community itself, not by some few people deciding on the organization that this features should be there or should not be there. As a user, you can also just vote for anything that you want it or not. Understand it is like some corporation world and owning the chain of it, right? So you are going to be a VP kind of thing that your vote is also valuable. And here users are the one who control their account rather than corporation owning their accounts. Blockchain has property of immutability, which means the data cannot be changed once it's published. So if anything needs to be changed in an very emergency kind of thing, or just the community wants the things to be changed, that has to be carried out with the votes that the user holds, and everything will be verified and without any intermediary things. So you don't need to have any regulating those things. You just need to vote it, and your vote is much more valuable over there, because whosoever wins the vote, the majority, if the majority is there in the vote, then that things is going to change. So these are the example. You can see most of the content, it is user generated content or published content as well. So that is the difference over web 1 and Web 2 and Web 3. So now let us look at the example. So the very first example that I'm going to show you all, guys, it's Uniswap protocol. So this Uniswap is a decentralized exchange that lets you trade any tokens uh, even if they have very less liquidity. So that's very amazing. And the token can be anything from currencies to arts, which represents any kind of token. It can be NFT that represents a token like Bored Ape tokens. You guys might have heard of it. And Uniswap is decentralized, so meaning that this tokens can be traded without any intermediates, right? And that's a big thing. After that, we have compound. So basically, compound is basically it lets user to borrow and lend different kinds of tokens in form of loans. So you can just take the loan, or you can lend it to this platform without any intermediates. It's totally decentralized, and any kind of financial application you could think of, you can actually make it decentralized, totally decentralized in the blockchain itself. So that's what it is.